What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of F1 Chat. We haven't done a recording like this talking about the news in a while, and
for a long time.
yeah. But we've got to kind of cover some stuff over the summer break. And if you guys are new here, please make sure you subscribe. If you're not new here, also make sure that you're subscribed, because YouTube has been unsubscribing people for inactivity, for not interacting with the channels, and I've been seeing it happen on my personal channel as well as this one. So yes, please make sure you guys are subscribed. If you have any comments or opinions on today's news, please comment down below. We love the discussion. We really appreciate it. So Today, with myself and my esteemed colleague Joe,
What's up?
We have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
A lot of weird news to talk about.
Oh yes, most definitely. And I think the biggest piece of news and the most obvious is the absolute dominance of Red Bull this season. I mean, it's worse than even last season, I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
The Red Bull dominant. I mean, of course, you can also talk about, people can still argue that Mercedes dominant, Lewis Hamilton's dominant is much worse than Red Bull, but it's different era with different regulations. And the fact that FIA introduced all these new regulations to close out the gap, that promise to close up the gap in between teams, it's not working.
No, it really isn't. And one of the things that I was reading that I think is interesting is that there are some rumors that there may be some regulation changes introduced before 2024 that kind of target Red Bull a little bit. Because if you remember, before the 2021 season, they made regulation changes to the floor and
the height of the car.
Exactly, right? Which directly kind of targeted Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
They said they did it for safety, but it led to more head-to-head battles for first place for 2021, right?
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that the FIA is considering some of these changes for the next season, because it is getting boring to watch. Like,
it's very
absolutely boring.
Because you don't, like, for us now, to be honest, like, for between our channel, like, we watch the race because we wanted to do a recording and to react to the race to you guys. But then if we don't do this, we are not gonna watch it.
No,
that's just the true fact.
Yeah. Like, it would be so much. I could save so much time, and like I could actually like sleep in on the weekends. You know,
and I can just watch the highlights.
And the reality is, like, there aren't really like that many highlights to see. You're either going to get a crash in a safety car, you're going to see some pit stop strategy kind of exchange, right? Like tire deg issues, and that's it, right?
And you're going to see Max having a grid penalty, and he can still win by 22 seconds ahead.
Exactly. Ahead of his own teammate.
Within 10 laps.
Yeah, exactly. And the reality is, like, statistically speaking, like, it's been reported that, especially in the American market, a lot of people are declining in viewership. Now, that may not be to the races, like the in-person races, right? But the viewership online, the viewership on TV has been going down. And that is a real problem for the FIA, because that has been the big push to get into the American market, to crack the American market. And like let's be clear. Let's be absolutely clear. Like, Joe and I are not saying this as a negative against Red Bull. Well done. You did your homework.
Yeah,
you guys created an amazing car.
Yeah.
Max is driving like a freaking demon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not their problem. It's a Red Bull is not the problem. The FIA is the problem.
Yeah.
Because they're not instituting regulations to lead to more competitive racing, right? And as a result, you know, they're the ones who are going to suffer from viewership and engagement with their product, you know? And again, especially in one of their new like emerging markets, i.e., you know, the USA, this is an issue. This is really an issue.
Like, for USA, I know, like, we all know that American audience love the sports that has more actions and it's more fast-paced action. If you look at football, if you look at basketball, if you look at
hockey,
NASCAR, hockey, all those are like wheel-to-wheel and in-person action.
Yeah, high intensity.
Every single lap, every single game, every single goal, or every single basket. And so I kind of get it why American viewers are now watching Formula One as much.
Yeah,
because Formula One is actually getting very boring in terms of the top three. Actually, in terms of the top one. Yeah, exactly. Sherif says best. You don't tune into a sports to watch me feel. you tune into a sports to watch the top one.
Exactly. Like, I would like what Joe's referring to is in our live broadcast. They said you don't watch the Olympics to see who didn't end up on the podium. And that's what we're doing with F1, realistically speaking.
Yeah,
you know?
and I guess Netflix helps United States market a lot.
Yeah.
And actually, the 2021 season actually helps United States viewers a lot.
Yeah.
But then, after the regulation change, everything just sort of died down. I mean, 2022 season actually have a little bit of view because everybody wants Mercedes to revenge. Right.
But
then that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then 2023 season just kind of just peace out and just die down. And
Joe is completely right. Like, if you look at what we like the American consumers typically engage with, right? Like NASCAR, like IndyCar. You know, we're as a people, like maybe not Joe and I specifically, but as the American people, we're not as concerned with strategy. We're not so concerned about pit stop. We're not concerned about tire day and like the statistics of the race, right? You know, we don't care that, you know, Verstappen, you know, slowed down his pace to 2/10 on sector 1 and sector 3 at Spa. You know what I mean? We're into the wheel-to-wheel racing, and that's at the end of the day, that is the bread and butter of racing, right?
And especially if you have Formula One car as a car.
Exactly. So this is a real issue, and part of like my concern, at least as like a fan and as somebody who has been engaged with F1 for years, right? You have people like Toto Wolff and Russell basically saying like, oh, we just need to take Max out of the equation, or, you know, F1 would be better without Red Bull or Max. And like, here's the thing. Joe and I, we're not huge fans of Christian Horner or Helmut Marko or Max even for that matter, right? But I will defend them in this particular case, right? It's not their fault that they built a superior car and that everybody else has been playing catch up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not their fault, right? Because Mercedes benefited from like what 8 years of fucking dominance.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't just turn around and say, you know, on the flip side, well, for those 8 years of manufacturer dominance, well, if we just took out Mercedes and we just took out Lewis Hamilton, right? Like you can't spin the same comments, you know, backwards onto the people. You know what I mean?
You like Mercedes benefit its same rules,
exactly,
the same umbrella. So,
exactly.
So don't judge others when you are in that situation before.
Yeah, and you can.
And then you benefited. You benefited for 7 years.
right. Exactly, and you can even go further back with, you know, Ferrari and Schumacher.
Yeah,
you know,
and McLaren. Right. So nobody on the grid should be complaining.
Right.
So everybody's on the same rule, same umbrella. Of course, the regulation is different, but still, it's still under Formula One rules. You guys benefit a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not stuff that you should be complaining.
Right. Exactly. 100% exactly. Right. What you should be doing is fixing the problems that you guys started with the whole new car concept, where you didn't listen to the feedback of Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. Your number one driver, you're a 7-time world champion, and you created a crap car.
I mean, think about it. Who has a championship on the grid?
Right.
Nobody. And the last one was Lewis Hamilton.
Right.
So
right.
I don't get why, again, Mercedes doesn't listen to Lewis Hamilton when he said that this car doesn't work.
Right. Exactly. And like the reality is, I don't know, to me, like, I really have been getting pissed off personally with the comments from Toto Wolff this season, because it's all sorts of, you know, like it reminds me of Christian Horner back in like 2021.
He's starting to be complaining a lot. Like,
exactly. Like
and having a lot of excuse.
Yeah,
to cover up their poor car performance.
Yeah, at the end of the day, your car sucks.
Yeah,
you guys, you know, screwed up. Why don't you guys just shut up, fix the problems that you created?
Yeah,
and that's it. Like, keep your head down.
And same thing to say to other teams too. Like,
right?
It's not Red Bull's fault that they are running away with the championship.
Yeah,
like a mile.
Good on them.
Yeah, it's actually other teams' fault because they can understand the regulation better.
Yep, exactly.
And I would even argue it's not FIA's fault, because they are providing the regulation and everybody's under the same regulation.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You know, and the only issue is, like, FIA now needs to take steps to kneecap Red Bull so that everybody else has a fighting chance.
See, like,
which kind of sucks. You know?
I don't like that aspect of Formula One, because now it's just okay. Somebody is performing very well, then you're trying to take away from them and then make the grid equal. But then what's the point of having the same new regulations and having you guys announcing all the regulation can be closing up the gap in every team? It doesn't make sense for me.
Well, you remember the movie The Incredibles by Pixar?
Yeah.
Remember the young kid Dash? You know, his son, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, the father's perspective. He was like, he is exceptional. Why not let him be exceptional?
Yeah.
You know, like it's not his fault that he is faster and quicker than everybody else. You know, so like, why not celebrate his ability? You know, rather than making him worse to like accommodate all the other normal people.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Just
it doesn't. It doesn't. And speaking of things that don't make sense, Otmar was sacked from Alpine, and in a move that almost like Ferrari sacking Mattia Binotto after one season. Otmar has barely been there 2 years, and he's already out. And I love Otmar didn't even show up to the race in Spa at all.
Yeah.
And he basically left saying, you can't make a baby faster by getting 9 women pregnant and expecting it to have a baby in 1 month, right?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't understand, the analogy is, right, if you get 1 woman pregnant, you're going to have a baby in 9 months. So you can't have 9 women pregnant and expect a baby in 1 month. It still is going to take those 9 women 9 months.
Yeah. No, like I feel like a lot of, like, especially Alpine, they are doing very bad, and they are exhausted. In the higher up management of Alpine, not the race, not the Formula One management, but the brand manager wants money, and that's exactly what it is. They want money. They don't, like, the business people don't understand racing.
Apparently not, because if you look at the last 18 months of Alpine, right, we have Budkowski fired, Prost leaves the team, then Otmar joined the team, Piastri left the team for McLaren, Alonso left the team for Aston, Rossi loses his CEO title, Otmar is then fired. Permane, I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, was fired, and then Pat Fry leaves for Williams. And this is all within the last 18 months, man. Like
a whole shakeup.
Right. I mean, if you look at Mercedes is a perfect example, right? You can't fix all of your problems in one season, right? Ferrari is a perfect example. You can't go and change the result of the team in one season, right?
And like those businessmen want them to solve the problem of the performing of Alpine car within a season, not even one season, within a season.
Which is absolutely nuts and unreasonable,
Impossible.
Yeah. Dude, if that was the case, right, Ferrari would have been in championship contention this season immediately after firing Binotto.
Yeah.
Which they're not. Clearly they're not.
If that was the case, Mercedes will already be in championship contender.
Exactly.
After they change their car.
Right.
Their design of the concept of the car. So it's not rocket science, guys. Come on, Alpine business people. It's not rocket science. You have the brain to make money. Why not use your brain to, think it through? And it's not like if you change somebody tomorrow, you expect the performance, you'll sell your product higher up third day. No, it's not. It's just not.
No, and it's crazy, right? Again, another great example is McLaren. McLaren before Spa was in second place with Norris, and then in Spa where they had a low downforce track, right? All of a sudden, Norris couldn't get above 7th, and they essentially brought like a whole new car to the grid. A few races ago. They're still getting their head around it, so that explains their swings, right? There's no doubt that the Alpine car is good. It really is. Look at how it performed at Spa, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's just no sense in not giving your people the time and the resources in order to get what they can get done. You know, like let them keep I mean, dude, Almar has been keeping his head down and has been making like steady progress, you know, for the last few seasons. And like, I don't understand why they thought they could end up even in podium contention, you know, without giving the guy the time he needs, you know?
It's not their fault. It's the business people that doesn't use the mind.
Yeah. And to that end, what's really funny is there's rumors now that, you know, Mattia Binotto may take over as the team principal.
Yeah,
which is hilarious because he was just fired, you know.
Yeah, and of course they would expect Mattia Binotto to turn Alpine around within 5 weeks, 5 months.
Yeah, exactly.
If they didn't get a result within 5 months, he's gonna be fired again in 2024.
Which is so funny. Like, why? Like, if it's true and Mattia Binotto is, you know, potentially in talks to do that, I don't understand why he would take that gig, because it's no different than what he went through at Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to be out of a job after one season again. Like, come on, man. Like, you want a more permanent place. Like, look, okay.
And you deserve a more permanent place.
He does. He is a good team principal. Like, there's no question about it. I mean, like, look at freaking Red Bull, right? How many years were they losing out and constantly in second and third place to Mercedes, right? And they didn't get rid of Horner, you know. So what I don't understand why these teams aren't taking the long view. They aren't thinking long term. It doesn't make sense, especially with regulation changes.
And there's new regulation coming in.
Right. Exactly.
Like, you guys are gonna fall back again.
Yeah.
Because firing people doesn't change your performance. Like,
no, it really doesn't.
The way to change your performance is changing your concept and then get your thinking right.
And having good team dynamics, right? Yeah. Again, Ferrari is a perfect case of this. Yeah. Ferrari has a great car. They have two great drivers, right? But their strategy is like a clown show, you know? They're constantly making the wrong calls strategically, you know, and they're not meshing, you know, super well as a team. And that's why you don't see Sainz and Leclerc consistently. Well, I mean, Leclerc has problems with consistency to begin with, but you don't see them constantly at the front of the field, you know? So you need to work more on that side of things in order to get the entire team to gel and to think about it like Kobe and Shaq, right? How long did it take for those two to gel and the whole team to gel around them to become a championship winning team? You know, like it's not an easy thing, especially when you have two superstars.
Think about Kobe just by himself either. Like,
yeah,
they don't fire Kobe. They don't trade Kobe for those years that they didn't get championship.
Right, exactly.
They trust him, and then they trust Lakers. Laker Nation trust him to bring Lakers back to the top.
Exactly. You know,
you just don't you trust your drivers. You trust your top drivers. It's just like Red Bull trust Max. yeah, exactly. And speaking of top drivers, man, this is the last piece of news for today. There are rumors that Carlos Sainz is now making new demands of Ferrari to get equal pay to Leclerc. Oh, he deserves it. Come on. we all know he deserved it.
I was just going to say, good on him, man, because the reality is Leclerc is supposed to be the golden boy, and there's literally only, 7 points separating them in the championship, and Leclerc has gone off track and been more inconsistent than Sainz.
Yeah. And
There have
Sainz,
been a number of times even that Sainz has been like requesting, like, dude, let me overtake him. I'm being held up by Leclerc.
I have more pace.
Yeah.
Sainz has more pace.
Right.
So yeah, he deserved it. Totally deserved it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the difference between Sainz and Leclerc is, I mean, both of them are really, both of them are in the top driver categories. But then Sainz the way Sainz drive is more brain driven.
Yeah.
Strategy
He's a
driven.
thinking driver.
Yeah. And Leclerc goes with his heart.
Yes.
And sometimes goes with your heart will cause you trouble.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And the reality, like I said, the reality is that Sainz has been driving very consistently. He's got excellent pace. He's been managing the car, the tire dag, everything exceptionally well, as good, if not better, than Leclerc in the majority of situations. His qualifying has also been like exceptional. So I think good on him. I really genuinely think that Sainz deserves, because he delivers. You know?
For sure, he deserves equal pay.
Yeah,
Sure.
100%. Like, he should not be playing number 2 to Leclerc at all. He really shouldn't. So, I don't know, man. Like, it's not a dynamic like Hamilton and Russell. You know, it's not a dynamic like Max and Checo, right? It's not a dynamic even of like Alonso and Stroll. You know, the reality is that these two guys are fairly even matched on their best day, you know. And again, Sainz has been delivering more consistently, in my opinion, than Leclerc. So there's no reason that he should be getting paid any less. He has, equal, if not greater, opportunity to deliver.
I even think that he should be the number 1 driver.
I agree.
They should switch. At this, I'm not saying Leclerc for all of Leclerc fan out there. I'm not saying that he's a bad driver, or we're not saying that he doesn't deserve a Formula 1 seat. But it's just the current regulations and the current situation and the dynamic of the grid. I think it's more suitable for Carlos.
Yeah.
To go for the number 1 driver, and
I agree.
The team should work around him, and Leclerc should work around him as well. I
agree. He's just seems to be the better leader of the two, the more sort of demanding of performance and execution.
It's not like that we are taking out Leclerc's fate, right? It's
no.
See, if you look at basketball, if you look at any other sports, the captain is not always the fastest.
Right.
The captain is always the one that knows every single players on the teams. They need to know what their favors are. They need to know what their secret sauces are.
Yeah.
So it's not like we are saying, oh, Leclerc, you doesn't deserve a Formula 1.
Yeah, but I think Carlos Sainz is more well-rounded, better suited to be in that leadership role, genuinely, than Leclerc.
Yeah.
And Ferrari should really, really consider it, because I think they should keep Sainz. Sainz, in my opinion, is their best bet. Like, on Leclerc's best day, he may be faster than Sainz, right? But day to day, Sainz is more consistent and faster than Leclerc.
It's like the dynamic between Hamilton and Russell.
Yeah.
Like Russell might be fat.
Not even. Russell can't hold a candle to Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean,
on his best day.
Yeah, like, but sometimes you can see Russell outperform Hamilton from time to time.
Yeah.
Right? But Hamilton is more consistent throughout. Much more consistent throughout.
Yeah.
And he doesn't rarely do a mistake. He doesn't rarely cause mistake.
True. Very true. In that sense, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sainz is way better in terms of consistency. So let us know, guys. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below about all of today's news. Things are getting interesting, at least in the background. Like, Joe and I have been looking at the news week to week throughout the season. There hasn't been a lot of shakeups, but then all of a sudden this week, man, like, everything's coming down.
Yeah. Who knows? Alpine will fire both of their drivers. Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly.
Reset the whole thing.
Yeah, just because the CEO doesn't like the performance of the team.
Right, exactly. But dude, let us know down in the comments your thoughts about the current season, what you think about Red Bull dominance, the shakeups over at Alpine, and the possibility of Sainz getting equal pay to Leclerc. You think he deserves it? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. You know, the usual YouTube stuff. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.